Recently, on-site tournaments have returned to Advanced Wars by Web, and hundreds, nearly thousands of people have joined each of these tournaments. I am one of those few people, so let the tournament runs begin. How's it going, guys and gals? This is Advanced Warrior here, and I am finally back with another Advanced Wars by Web replay commentary. I know a lot of you guys have been missing this kind of content, but I hope to come back in full swing, if that's what some people call it. But yeah, as I said in the introduction, on-site tournaments have made a return to Advanced Wars by Web. They used to be on the site a long time ago, but then they stopped working for some reason I don't actually know. But we used pre-made games by people, and brackets were held on challenge.com, and they were Discord Cups. I have been in 2 Discord Cups, one for standard, one for high funds. Unfortunately, I just couldn't make it to the fog one, because by the time I was able to sign up for it, registration was full, and it kind of sucked because it was on my birthday too. But yeah, that's and anyways, right now I am in the Smacky Cup, I believe it's described as the Premier Fog Tournament, and I'm happy to be in this one because Fog, I feel like, is my strongest game mode. Second would be standard, least would be high fun. Sorry, True Boss. Least high funds. But yeah, I am now in a game mode that I'm comfortable in, and I hope to do well in this tournament, and I'm proud to share my progress for this tournament. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into the map. We played Tier 3 Frozen Fire. Fire being spelled in a very interesting way, PH for the F sound, and 13 for the I and the E. To some people, 13 is a bad luck number. So it is a 2 base and airport versus a 1 base side. But the 1 base side has a recon on the enemy's 2 base side where they could see everything. And 1 base on the 2 base side is completely surrounded by a sea tile and mountains, so only infantry and mechs can be built here. There's an airport that can support the 1 base side in the central-ish area. It could diverge to the 2 base side if it wanted to, but the airports in the corner are much closer to that. Comm towers in between the closest bases here. Eventually the 2 base side is going to overrun and get these properties, so I wouldn't advise as the 1 base side to try to rush for the properties that you're going to eventually lose. The comm tower, losing all the comm towers does not mean you lose the game. Depends how many there are, of course. But yeah, the first thing I did notice was okay, the recon is giving vision of the enemy, so you definitely can plan and maybe play around what they build from their sides until they destroy it with an indirect that could cost them some tempo. But I also kind of saw this map as like a siege map where the airport and the 2 base side will eventually overrun the 1 base side, and eventually both sides would base swap if both of the offenses were sharp and solid enough to take it over. Then eventually it would just be left versus right. The 1 base side does have a pipe seam that you could break and try to free yourself, or try to fan out in the middle. The 2 base side definitely shouldn't just hard focus on the base, because I feel like you're gonna miss out on some of the properties in the middle, which is something that I try to acknowledge. Yeah, eventually an indirect might want to kill this recon, and yeah, just base siege. My opponent will have vision of me for part of the game. So yeah, very interesting map for round 1. Notice I also said it was tier 3, but you'd see that both of us have picked, according to the website, a tier 4 CO in Sami. Sami's passive is that she has plus 30% offense on her foot soldiers. They also have a 50% capture rate, meaning that it's harder to interrupt caps for them. They would have to be down to 3 HP if you were going to interrupt a capture when they started with a full health infantry. Their transports have +1 move, which I don't think either of us build transports in this game. This doesn't seem like a transport heavy map. However, Sami also loses 10% offense on her direct units, which would be her recons, her tanks, her copters. But only her direct units. Her artillery, rockets, and missiles are completely fine. Which is, I felt like was kind of good for an aggressive heavy map, where I feel like artillery are really good being aggressive with, so long as you have the protection for them. Her 3-star power is double time, gives all of her foot soldiers, I believe, plus 50% offense, as well as giving them +1 movement. And her super victory march. Did I say double time for the power? I think I did. Her super victory march is I said 9 stars earlier, 8 stars. For 8 stars, Sami foot soldiers will get plus 70% offense, plus 2 movement, as well as being able to capture properties immediately, no matter what the HP is. I'm sorry. Usually when people see victory march, they're just like, oh, they gotta capture the HQ and they can win the game. But sometimes you can use victory march and just get like a huge income swing, and you can like slowly win the game from there. And especially on this kind of map where I feel like you want to overwhelm the one base side, you could free up the base and then use the movement to surpass the mountain, and then you can get that base right away, which is definitely something that Sami can look into when using her super. Alright, so my opponent is Captain Brenner. Thankfully, I'm not fighting the Captain Brenner from Days of Ruin, because that would be kind of hard, you know, it's 30% on certain units, but maybe it wouldn't be that good here. Also, damage is kind of different, so a lot of conversions. I'm not here to do that though. I'm just here to talk about my round 1 game, and yeah, I think that I pretty much covered everything, so without further ado, let us begin. I'm a bit rusty with the self-commentary, so please forgive me if I mess up in some parts. But yeah, both of us just build our infantry. I build my infantry, and I immediately want to get this base. I've seen some people like go here and then get the base, but that's in vision of the recon. In the forest, you're hidden, so it just adds a little bit of mystery to my opponent, not seeing the infantry and probably thinking I went somewhere else. So my opponent decides to move forward, and I think it's a little risky if you try to go forward on your one base side, because eventually I will overrun and take back, and maybe you can hold on to some of these. If I did go forward on my one base side, I'd probably capture this city and then start to fan out a little bit and go for this one, and then some of my infantry could like maybe go here, capture this, and then maybe get the airport. You don't want to ignore the middle, which is definitely I wanted to avoid. I didn't just want to go hard rush in the middle. I mean hard rush towards the one base side and then completely ignore everything in the middle. But instead of moving forward, I decided to move back here because I wanted this extra income at this moment to make certain builds. We'll see if those builds do come into play, and I just move forward just to get vision, see what my opponent is doing, and I don't have sight of my opponent going for this city here. If they're going for this city, I assume they want to capture like one of these two, I guess. But yeah, I don't recommend it on the one base side. They don't see me doing aggressive moves, so I can kind of understand it, but yeah, eventually I could overrun it unless their defense is very solid. So I go for the back city there, and I finally capture my base, and I go for this one because I know I'm going to be on the offensive, and I also think I move planned this and so that if my opponent ever builds a recon on the one base side, if I do this, I will be able to secure the property. And then I just move back up to see if my opponent's moving up again. And over here, I believe I can see... Wait, no. It's the recon that can see this infantry on the mountain. It's not, it's not the mountain, I'm sorry. But yeah, here, this is all I see right now. And I build the one base recon here. Now, I did have some practice games. I forgot to mention this earlier. I practiced on this map with a tier 3 CL, and then my opponent picked Sami, and then I was kind of having trouble facing her, and that is why I picked Sami on this map, because I saw how strong she was. Another thing that I did was that this happened to me and one of my opponents, where weak side vehicles really kind of like was a little surprise for me and my opponent. However, it was tanks. Recon is good for interrupting infantry, but an enemy tank can easily get rid of that. I built a tank because I wanted to save money for something on my 2-base side, and you'll see this does kind of cost me. So my opponent does the same thing here. My Recon will not be able to do some premature damage to that infantry. So my opponent's just like moving up a lot, actually. It hasn't gone for this immediate back capture yet. I guess they just wanted some more middle-aged presence. But yeah, the Recon here cannot see. It can attack, but it cannot see the infantry there. And like I said, I go for the city that's near the pipe seam, so then I can like start going for the city or start going for the airport. And instead of moving back here to get this city, I think this infantry goes for this city, and then it goes for the airport. And this infantry can get some middle presence gained, like this little chain here. There's also a chain back here that I believe I send this infantry to go back here too, and I immediately start capturing this. Now I know I did say that I do want to be more offensive on my 2-base side, but I just but you know, all this infantry can definitely overwhelm and kill that, so I'm not ready for a push. And I build a mech because in one of my games, like I said, tanks were troublesome on the weak side, so I'm just like, okay, let's build a mech to discourage some vehicles. My opponent plays normally, and I would say kind of correctly on the builds, so finally going for some back caps. And this infantry moves back here for vision. They don't really see much. They do see this mech though. Maybe they might have seen... Actually, hold on. No, they couldn't have seen me move up here. But yeah, they move back instead of moving over here. I would have liked to see this infantry move to the right, and then maybe get the city or this city. Instead of just being very passive, just trying to get some vision, and they start capturing cities on the side, and they build a tank. This tank is exactly why this Recon build was not the best build for me. I can't interrupt captures, and if I do try, then this tank is just gonna move in, and I'm going to be punished for that. Unfortunately, they don't have the city yet, so this tank is gonna have to sit back here or here, one tile back, just so this infantry can capture. And my opponent slowly moves up, doesn't take the comm tower, which I thought was kind of strange. Just playing it safe, I guess, but I'd rather see all these infantry like somewhere over here or like somewhere back here. So I move up, just try to get some vision, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I see this infantry on the mountain, and I see that this city was taken. I capture this city here, and I go for this back one here. Like I said, this infantry gets that one, mech moves forward. Hopefully I cover this infantry, but mechs would rather attack vehicles than other infantry, but I guess if there was a vehicle, then this mech is ready for that. And I build a mech on my 1-base side because I saw the tank here, and I can't build any other vehicles. This mech and this Recon was actually why I got this city first. Actually, this mech. Recon I probably would have bought. If I didn't capture the city, I wouldn't have had enough for that mech. So strange opening from me so far. The mech is in vision, so I hope it's just to deter my opponent from getting these cities. But the tank is in the way. If I go for anything, I could get trapped, and that tank is just gonna kill that Recon, and I would have wasted 4k. And here we have the first engagement. My opponent eliminates my infantry on the mountain. That's Sami for you. And they start capturing that property. So my turn. I capture this property and I start moving back, but then I might move back up again to try to get that city. And my recon is just moving back. I feel like this recon was like a big waste. Maybe I could redeem this mech, but we'll just see. Capture that property and get some vision. Have this infantry go here and then start getting those back caps. Infantry on the mountain gets good vision. Opponent hasn't captured this yet, and I have the artillery. This artillery is gonna be on this road, and then attack this recon, kill it, and then this artillery can actually move up to this forest, 1, 3, 5, and there will be no more forests that will alter the movement of that artillery, which is why I don't put it on the city. So I put it on the city, 1, 2, 3, 4. It has another forest to go through. So my opponent moves up, gets vision on that mountain. They see some development here with the mech and the artillery there, and so they're just getting the near cities. And my opponent builds an artillery the same time I do, so we'll have probably the same amount of intel. And my opponent moves here in the forest. I assume they're going to try to go for that city. I do see that city though. And yeah, the tank just like moves up 1, so it was almost like it wasted a turn, kinda, just to like be in that one spot, but it still is covering all of their infantry, so I will give them that. Alright, day 7 here, get a little capture chain here, and I capture this city. I should be able to get this because I am Sami. I go for the airport, and like I said, artillery on the road. As you can see, this turn it will go through the forest, but then after that it won't have to deal with it anymore. A recon moves in just trying to get some vision, and I see that tank. My mech moves in because it doesn't have anything better to attack, unfortunately. And I do like heavily damage the infantry here, and I build a tank on the weak side. Probably not the best thing to do. I'm being passive on my 1 base side, but I already invested like, what is this, 14k? That's already like 2 tanks worth in these 3 units here. Okay, so my opponent falls back with their 1 HP infantry, and they get some vision here. I forgot to mention, I probably should have moved this mech like maybe on the city, but I was afraid that they would first strike the mech and then it would have a hard time getting value off of its first strike, which is where mechs are strongest. But yeah, you know, my mech stays hidden and it doesn't cover my recon. In fact, maybe my recon should have just been like here, probably, just to get some vision. Oh, this infantry is trapped, I think? I think it tried to go for this city. But yeah, my opponent's moving in, and they're already capturing the properties here. I don't have a single one. They already have one here. And my opponent makes a mistake down here, putting the artillery on the city. If they were Lash or Kindle, I can understand. They could one-shot the recon. But then it will have to, like, you know, use up two more movement just to get to that forest. So a little micro error, I guess. My opponent also goes for the property here. The capture chain, and this forest infantry moves up and starts attacking my infantry, and I was kind of like, why are you going on the offensive on your 1 base side? They build another tank here, and I do see that tank, so I get the little capture chain in the middle, finally capture that property. My tank moves up, protects that infantry. I finally am going for this back city here. I do get my airport earlier than my opponent, and the recon is just moving away, trying to get vision on the center. And I'm being passive with this mech. This mech hasn't done anything. This was kind of like 2k wasted here. Yeah, I make a mistake. Yeah, I make a mistake. I didn't have vision before I moved this infantry up. So glad I was able to take care of that. The mech moves back, and I just start attacking infantry because I will eventually win this side. Tank, infantry. I would have loved to build a tank here but this is in a foot soldier only base because it's surrounded by impassable terrain. So I kind of had a tank here, and it was like, you know, little tank chain. Maybe I'll, you know, shift to the middle. So he joins an infantry, which that was kind of strange. Finally, he's about to make a move on the airport, or maybe even this city, but I probably would have gone for the airport. On the other side, I do have that middle-ish city right here. So I finally get the comm tower in the city. They have 3 of the middle-ish properties, while I have none. And with the comm tower, artillery does not one-shot the recon. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Artillery does not one-shot the recon. Could be a roll, could be wrong. But yeah, we have the same build, tank, infantry on the infantry-only spot. And my opponent kills off my 1 infantry, but I had the tank back there to cover it. So I finally get rid of the recon, first things first, and then I attack from the city, get a nice trade, 8-5, move the infantry up, ready to capture more properties. I noticed that this wasn't captured. I'm just like, the heck's happening? So like maybe I could go for the capture, and then I start moving in because next turn, because I have mech support for this one, and I have this tank which actually covers both of those infantry, so long as it's not being blocked by the blocked on the properties. And I build a battle copter as soon as I got rid of the recon. They probably would suspect a copter at this point, maybe if they saw and were paying attention. So I wouldn't be too surprised if I saw an anti-air. But my opponent moves in. Infantry and mech, get rid of that. Free up more spaces to attack this infantry. Infantry moves up above the tank and uses his other tank to put me down to 4 HP. I lose vision on the bottom side. They're finally capturing their airport. Infantry moves up, and then the other infantry, the mechs are staying behind. A mech chain going on for my opponent here. Where I only have like 2, so I am saving a bit more money. This tank survives at 1 HP because, you know, Sami tanks fighting anything on cities is already hard enough. But I'm laughing at mechs, yet this mech hasn't done anything. So I guess we're even. So day 10, let's see here. I move in, and unfortunately I don't get the kill. Maybe I was depending on a roll, but I don't have the comm tower, so I can't guarantee that roll. Start going for this city here. This infantry could probably start going for that one. Bit surprised they still haven't gone for it. And I first strike not on the city, unfortunately, because I was able to cover that, but then I have no vision on these. Maybe that's why I went for that. I wouldn't have vision to first strike the tank. Now we're 2-2 even. I'm on the city, on the shoal. 3 HP infantry. I made a 3 HP infantry left on the shoal because I attacked it. But yeah, the mech, it's not attacking vehicles, unfortunately. But I do get the mech hit, and I kill off the mech, and I'm able to kill off this infantry. Oh man, it's just so satisfying when you have Sami just getting rid of like 7 HP infantry. And the copter actually protects all but 2 of these. These 2 are probably high priority, so my copter would be able to probably retaliate without fear. And because my opponent has to capture the city, I'm like, okay, now you definitely cannot get that city unless you had a tank over there and then start capturing. And I built the very early anti-air because I know my opponent's gonna capture this city, capture this airport. So I'm like way ahead of my opponent when it comes to their possible copter builds. Okay, so my opponent moves back to repair, and they start moving in. Boom, boom, get rid of that infantry. They could probably start capturing that city, and then start attacking the infantry on the forest. But you know, they see the mech, they kill the mech, they capture the property. That infantry is unscathed, but it can't interrupt any caps. And my opponent has a 3rd tank. Putting me down there, and gets rid of my other tank, and the infantry hides in the forest. Low HP Sami infantry are very scary when they have victory march, and I do believe this one does do something impactful later in the game when we do get to the powers, which we are about halfway to. Tank moves in away from the mech, but I do have a tank back here. and my opponent gets the first strike on my mech, and I do believe they kill my mech. Unfortunate, my mechs haven't been able to shoot any vehicles, but and yeah, here you could see this artillery could have been up here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could have been like here or here, but instead there's like 2 full tiles back. So just another micro thing about my opponent. They build an anti-air here because they see that I do have this airport, but no vehicles out yet. Infantry being built, and pass the turn. Wow, 8k left for my opponent. Income, we're actually pretty even on income, but I feel like I'm about to be behind because I'm going to lose the city. But I do kill off the infantry that I can, and then I sit on the city. Copter moves in, hits the mech. 4 HP infantry is gone, and then the 4 HP mech is gone. I start capturing the city, and I just move to the side just to, I don't know, protection I guess. Also move out of the way. Fortunately, I do not kill this tank, but I didn't expect to. Now, these are in range of the mech, but I am overwhelming this mech. I also have this artillery here in case any funny ideas. The recon here is just to, harass the infantry. I do go for this city, and I do have this infantry here because this artillery can't cover this spot in case something does wrap around and attack. But I do feel like it's just longer to attack from the right side here. So this is what this infantry is trying to do. What's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say sponge and attack. Absorb and attack to protect this tank. And I just what I probably should have done maybe is move this tank over here and then kill this infantry. But that's not what I did, and I do have the copter. I am able to freely move and attack without possible harassment of the anti-air. The anti-air was built first though, so I think I'm going to take that back. But yeah, we see my opponent move in. Mech is in range of the base for any potential vehicles, and they capture the property. I am behind by 1, but I should be able to make it up. Artillery might want to go here, so it probably wouldn't matter if it was back here, but in case they wanted to adapt to something else, the artillery attacking from the road and then just sits in this forest. It has 2 more tiles to move up. And then my opponent builds a copter after first striking my recon, but my recon still has vision, it can still do its job. Tank is trying to fall back because this tank actually could not go anywhere else. The replay viewer does show that, but here it actually cannot go anywhere to the right, so the only safe place it could go is just back there, and it just frees up space for this mech to attack my tank. Now I have 2 HP tank, and they build an anti-air, respectably, because they do see the battlecopter right there. I cannot sit here, I cannot sit here. I probably could sit here and then make them base skip, like base lock themselves. But my opponent is diverging some units towards the middle, which actually looks scary now that I'm looking at it. Gets a nice little black bolt repair, and my opponent is in position to capture this city. I do capture this, so I'm still kind of behind on income. Oh, nope, I take that back. I'm ahead on income. 4 HP tank, had no chance. Capture that city, capture the comm tower. Artillery is in position to siege on anything on that base, and I try to get rid of this infantry and try to like first strike it to interrupt the capture, which I am able to because it's only at 10 capture points. And mech unfortunately just had no chance. And then I try going for the capture here. This anti-air does protect all my vehicles back here. If a vehicle does attack my anti-air, I do have the copter to retaliate with it, and this copter cannot reach my copter. So yeah, I'm just moving up. The siege so far is looking very comfy, and I just move up. I could not see the mech, so I couldn't attack it, and I just build infantry. Just get as much information as I can, see what I'm dealing with. But yeah, I don't see everything that's going on over here. And I build a tank weak side copter, and an infantry. This copter does actually protect all these vehicles. So my opponent just gets vision, and anti-air just shoots a 1 HP infantry. And my opponent builds a mech. Start capturing the properties there. Gets the first strikes on all of my units, especially this infantry on the base. Now this artillery is base locking me. My opponent gets another repair off that black boat, then just moves on to the city. This infantry wants to go for that. Battle cop their first strike, and they kill the tank, unfortunately. Wraps around, gets another first strike on that tank. Now I actually cannot first strike this copter. I have to clear up some of these units in order for me to do that. Recon moves in. I believe this infantry moved up, got trapped, and then this recon moves in and harasses my infantry. Probably should have gone for this one because they knew it was clear, but to each their own. Battlecopter begins to move up. Medium tank from my opponent. Interesting decision. How much do they have? 20k, and they built a mech. No, they didn't. 20k. Wait, hold on. Do they have a lot of? No, I'm sorry. I moved back too much. So yeah, they built a medium tank infantry, and they had a mech on their one base side. I would expect this medium tank to move towards the left because there's an artillery looking at this one, a battlecopter that could attack it. But here comes the victory march, and this isn't my sharpest victory march, I will admit, but you can be pretty sure that I'm going to get that base. So this infantry unfortunately could not reach this city. So I had this one move on to that, stopping that capture, and then I get this one. Doesn't matter. I'm getting both of those anyways, and then I get my opponent's airport. Now I have 3 airports to 1. Oh man, I'm excited. Furthest back infantry kills the mech. How'd I get vision on that? Oh, the recon. The recon gave me vision on that. Ooh. Oh man, low HP recons. They're dangerous. But yeah, I ensure that I'm able to get this property. Let's take a look at what we were at. We were at 22 to 23 in favor of me. Currently 25. I'll do the count at the end of the turn. Capture that city. Capture that city. Move in to protect that. And notice I haven't captured my comm tower yet. I wasn't sure what to do with all these infantry. I kind of just winged it, but I could have definitely gotten this comm tower before I committed to all these attacks. So I don't get the first strike on this 9 HP copter, but I have like 2 copters in range. But this anti-air is here, and I build a medium tank, despite knowing there's an artillery probably looking at this medium tank. It would be very difficult for my opponent to kill this base and capture it with victory march this turn. I hope that saved me. I see that the anti-air is hidden in the forest, and I attack here because this tank is blocking this spot, and this is a mountain, so this copter is actually safe despite it being very, very close to the anti-air. If my opponent were to kill this, anti-air move back, and then something moves in and kills it, but the anti-air is already moved, so he cannot do such a move, unless they were eagle, of course. And very lately I capture the comm tower, and then I start shifting towards the middle because I feel like I've already won this side. I have the base, it's very secured. Start moving units towards the middle because I am like, you know, I see this recon, I see this infantry. I get the first strike. I am still ahead on HP, and I did this just to prevent a possible recapture of the airport. I did move my anti-air out of the way, so I should very well hopefully keep this spot. And my opponent pops their own victory march. And let's see here. Artillery does 3 damage. Battlecopter does 2 damage. Kills the infantry in the back. Oh wait, I didn't even look at the turn, I'm sorry. So I am currently 33 to 17, which is huge, but my opponent has their victory march. They're probably going to get it back. And every property of mine that they capture, they gain 2 income, technically. So we'll see how my opponent evens this out. Kills it in the back. Opponent goes for this. And unfortunately, the anti-air is in range to kill that copter, and they can recapture the airport. So now it's back 2-2. I still have this base though. For now. Anti-air tries to deal damage to my infantry. A lot of back properties that they don't have actually. Completely surrounds my medium tank. His medium tank starts moving up. Going back for repairs. My opponent gonna capture this. Huh. They didn't go for the capture. My opponent moves back here to protect this city, very likely. So we are now to 22-27. Could have been 23-26 if my opponent did go for the city, but looking at this replay now, I'm surprised they haven't. Alright, so what's happening? Oh, okay, so I attack the infantry down there, move the tank down to get some vision, and I attack the anti-air. Because I do want to get this airport back. I do have a good amount of units to fight back for it. Infantry and anti-air moving up. I am aware they are in recon range. They are in recon vision, but I still want my units nearby to protect my vehicles. So I kind of move back next to the black hole, hopefully to get a repair. And I make a tempo mistake, I guess you want to call it. So I could have had this tank move over here. I could move this tank, like if I want to repair, move this infantry, then put this tank on the city, and then this tank can come in and like probably kill it in 2 or 3, kill this anti-air in probably 2 or 3 turns. But instead, I'm like so hard focused on, you know, shifting to the middle. As soon as I move this 1 HP infantry, I realize, oh wait, I wanted this over there. But I still try to block it. And yeah, I did look at this. My copter doesn't look like it's being moved yet. I do get this terrible first strike here. It's a river to a city. What am I thinking? And they have their super too. So it looks like I haven't moved these two. Build a copter and a tank. Infantry. I can't produce from here. I do get the repair on the 2 HP copter. But yeah, as you can see, this copter is like all of a sudden here. This artillery was shooting at this pipe seam. Now that this base is mine, I do hope to start flooding units out to the center faster because I got rid of this pipe seam. It's mine. This base is mine now, so I don't need to worry about it. So I don't need to worry about breaking it for my opponent. But yeah, unfortunately, artillery does kill my medium tank, but they don't have their victory march, so they won't get their so they won't get my base just yet. And my opponent starts capturing properties that I cannot defend. Starts going for attacks this infantry. Maybe would have liked to see this one being attacked, because this one can start capturing. Although it's on a missile tile compared to a plane, I would see the appeal to attacking an infantry on the plane rather than the missile tile. I don't know if I see that. I don't see that medium tank, it looks like. So my opponent starts moving in, starting to capture all the properties there. I'm still ahead by like 5 income to my surprise. 5k income. Copter moves to the left, kills my infantry on the river. Copter gets trapped and builds an anti-air. I can understand, like, considering that they see like how many copters? They see 3 copters, and they know there's one over here. So I can see why they would build an anti-air, and they build a copter probably to counter my copters. Yeah, let's see here. I start going for the city here, and I should be able to kill that the next turn. Probably should have kept this one moving, move this one up, and this 1 HP infantry, it's not going to break free, but yeah, I should not have done that. This anti-air would probably more than likely die the next turn, but this 8 HP copter hitting the pipe seam can now move up and first strike that copter. and I kill the copter while simultaneously revealing the medium tank. So I'm just like, ooh, you're probably not gonna like all these copters that you're seeing here. So 2 HP copter. I think at 2 HP, it like guaranteed the chance to kill. But anti-air is hitting vehicles when that should be like a mech's job. But the anti-air is still very well protected, I want to argue. Like if anything attacks from the missile silo, this copter and this copter can like counterattack. Well, maybe one because the black boat's blocking. I would also have to kill this infantry to do that. And so, yeah, I'm hiding my tank. I think I don't have any better place to repair for it. I could have... No, I can't move it back here because the recon's actually blocking the way. But yeah, I killed that recon, I killed that infantry. I deal damage to the infantry and I kill it. The Sami infantry against other infantry is just so satisfying to watch. And I start moving down here. Probably eyeballing these properties here. I was worried because my opponent has a copter here. And they can like copter harass and I need my own copters to get up there. But I don't have the closest airport to stop them immediately. But I kind of do have the same thing down here. And I build a medium tank with a defensive mentality to like hold the spot up here, like hold on to this airport. That was what was kind of on my mind. Infantry and infantry on the bottom side. Get a little resupply of the infantry here, probably to wipe off any chip damage as well. And this should be broken. Yes, this artillery has broken the pipe seam, so now all my units can like flood out towards the center a lot faster. Anti-air tries to chip down my tank. My opponent gets this property. 3 income behind. Now I'm 1 income ahead. Now they're completely ahead on income. But next turn I should be able to capture this and capture this. Medium tank moves up, and the tank stands in front of it, I guess, to like semi-protect it. They're all in range of the anti-air. Could I attack that? I probably could if I got vision of it. Helicopter moves up. Another anti-air. Infantry. Helicopter. Infantry moves up and tries the first strike. My infantry on the city. Artillery is just hiding. If we wanted to hide maybe back here, I don't see the point to move it up here. Infantry probably defending that. And my opponent resigns. Honestly, I am like ahead of production, I guess. I am about to secure the airport here, so I can actually understand and resign from this position. But yeah, if you could see, both of us just had a 1 scop. I had more generated funds actually. Built the same. He joined 1. We were still kind of close actually. I was behind on death value than my kill value. Had more kills in terms of numbers. Probably would have changed. Let's see, I capture this, I'll be... So if I capture this, 24-25, then I capture this, 23-27, but then they're gonna get that. This property is still neutral. Huh. Man, this game is actually kind of getting interesting, but my opponent gave the resign. I guess the double airport, triple airport to 1 airport was probably overwhelming. Like this is definitely gonna die. Probably could have a few counterattacks up here. I was thinking a lot about possibly getting a bomber and then just like bombing the black boat and then winning by victory march. Because I do feel very secured up here, especially with this potential medium tank on the way. Huh. I guess I just saw a lot of units down there, I guess. But yeah, that's day 16 resigned from my opponents. I'm very happy to win this one. I think this is my first time winning a tournament game on Advanced Wars by Web. I'm definitely proud to make it past round 1. I think that was my only goal. My only goal, make it to round 1. If I lose round 2, I don't care. I at least have 1 win on my board. 1 win on my name. But yeah, I'm trying to see like where could have it all gone differently. I think very early on my opponent just like maybe could have not paid more attention, but like going back, my opponent probably could have invested more to securing this side here, instead of like eventually like moving up on my 2-base side. I mean, like, yeah, they had this property and I kind of let it go for... Were they capturing? No, they weren't capturing. Kind of like, you know, I tried to play smart, you know, just let it go. They can get that. Eventually, I'm just going to win back these properties. And here, they still kept fighting. But then I eventually won. And then, like, they lost their tank. Well, not yet, but it's eventually going to lose. And yeah, eventually I just overran my opponent. That's not to say that I was perfect, though. As you can see on the other side, how far can I go back? Built the recon, and then like I built the mech, and like barely did anything. So both of us definitely could have played our weak sides differently, and invest more into our stronger sides. But there was a time where I did build a tank on this side, because because this is an infantry only base. I would have liked to build an infantry and then maybe a tank on this side, but that's not what the map does not allow us to do that. Medium tank, I guess, to prevent the base on the turn of the super. And then like I was able to like produce for a few more turns. And yeah, my opponent eventually didn't even get to produce a unit. They just captured this base. And then they resigned here. But yeah, I still feel like this was definitely an interesting game. And I did say I want to showcase... I don't know if I did say this, but I do want to showcase all of my tournament games so I can look back and be like, okay, this I could have done differently. This I could have done differently. This is why I like sharing my replays with you guys. I'm hoping to get the feedback, and I'm hoping to become a better Advanced Wars by Web player. But yeah, I believe this is a good time to stop. I want it to be short and sweet, not take too long with my videos. I think this is actually a good time, looking at my time. Yeah, I don't want my videos to be too long. I want to give a good amount of information, but not give out too little. It was a little hard for me to juggle, but I hope this was still a good enough video to cement my return to YouTubing and Advanced Wars by Web. You definitely will see some more Advanced Wars by Web content in the near future, also some Tiny Wars content as well, and a little bit of extra that I do have planned for you guys. But this will do for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Guys and gals, I'm Advanced Warrior. You all have my warmest regards. Please take care.